Today is the 7th of Adar 2, of Adar Sheni. And when there are two Adars, you celebrate Moses' birthday and Yarhzeit in the second month of Adar on the 7th day, which is today. So happy birthday, Moses. And when a birthday occurs on the same day as your death day, it means that your potential in life, which is your birthday, coincides with your actual, with what you accomplished in life, which is your death day, your Yarhzeit day. So both of these days for Moses are the 7th of Adar, and in an intercalculated month, it's the 2nd Adar. This is very interesting because, quite frankly, it's 37 days since the 1st of Adar, which is the 2nd of Adar. That's the 7th of the 2nd of Adar, and that's Hevel, who comprises part of his name. That's the Hey of his name, of Moses' name. And it's the concept of Yehida. So we're dealing in kind of like the Yehida of Moses, of Moshe. And it's evident here today. Also, it's 30 days after the 7th of Adar 1, of Adar Rishon in the intercalculated month, and this 30 is always with the Zelem and the Nefesh, and so the Zelem, which left on the 7th of Adar 1, so this is his real death day today. The Zelem left 30 days ago. But all this is introduction again, because this is not what it's a deep introduction, good enough to end right here. But so I wake up this morning. I had actually gone to a Breslev introduction last night. And I wake up this morning, and I'm lying in bed. And all of a sudden it comes to me, well, it's Moses' birthday, that Moshe, is made up of, the name is Mem, Shin, Hey. And the rabbis, and it's been brought down, that Moses comprises M for Moses, Shin for Set, and Hey for Hevel. So Moses is a composite of Moses, Shet, and Hevel. Set and Hevel, the two sons of Adam. Which, by the way, is also a Sheh, Shin Hey. Anyway, so I do the I write it down, and I don't know, this is why. This is what happens when I wake up. I wake up with a new soul. And maybe today I wake up with my spark of soul that comes from Moses, because each of us has a spark of soul of Moses. And that little spark of being a Jew comes from Moses. And that spark is actualized in each individual. And maybe today you receive that kind of, some echo of that spark. So I do the gematria of the three names of Moses, Shet and Hevel. So Moses is 345. Shet is 700. And Hevel is 37. So I add them up, and it comes out to be 1,082. Now, no reason to really think about that, except yesterday, during the day, I remember doing something else with the number 1082. So I look back. It was yesterday afternoon. And wow. I see I did something with Adam and Hava, Eve. Now, Adam and Eve are the people who produced, by the way, Shet and Hevel. As in this real time. I didn't think of this until now. And this is real time now. I just did this. I just woke up an hour ago. And I'm lying in bed and I get this Moses thing. And to do his gematria. Not just say Hevel, Set and Hevel, but do the gematria for the whole thing. And this is what I get a hush for. And my soul brings this to me. And when you wake up, you get a new soul. And today I have this affinity for the soul of Moses. And rightly so, it's his birthday. So I do the gematria for Adam and Eve. So, I can't write the cards here because they come out backwards. Just like when I do something with my right hand here, it comes out with the left. Yesterday, I put my right hand over my eyes to show the Aleph, and it turns out on the video it's the left hand. So please stay with me with that. So I'll put the left hand up there as the Aleph, and it'll come out right. So Adam is spelled Aleph, Dalet, Mem. 111 for Aleph, Dalet is 434, Mem, 80. That's 625. That just so happens to be the number 5 to the 4th power. Very propitious. That's the equivalent of 10 to the 4th power, say. So what would that be? 100, 10 times 2 is 100. 10 times 3 is 1,000. That would be 10,000. In those 10,000 numbers, anyway. Then I did Hava, Het, Vav, Hey. So Het is 418, Vav is 12, that's 430, that's Nefesh right there, and 6 is 436. So I then put the two together, and it's 625 and 436, that's 1,061. That, by the way, is a composite of Ein Sof. Aleph is 1,000, and 61 is Samek Aleph. And so it's taking the Aleph in itself and the Samek with the Aleph. It could be Ein Sof. But so it's 1,061. This is what I did yesterday, and then I added the letters. So there are 8 in Aleph is 3, Dalet 3, Mem 2. That's 8. And then in Het, then in Hava, it's 3, 5, 7. It's 15 letters in the two names spelt out. And then, since I see there's a name approaching yesterday, this was done yesterday, I added the words, the 3 words of Adam spelt out. This is appropriate and normative gematria. I haven't done anything weird here, like divided by 4 and 2 thirds. This is normative gematria, and this is how the Torah is explicated, and the opus is explicated by gematria. So I added the 3 words so each word would be, each letter in the word would be a word. So for Aleph, that's 1. So I added, and it comes out to be 6 because it's Adam is 3 and Hava is 3. So it's 6. So that's a total of 15 letters and 6 words, and 1,061. It comes out to be 1,082. And that was yesterday, Adam and Eve. This, by the way, is Tiferet, which is 1,081, plus 1. And I may have gotten this whole thing because of the concept of Tiferet. Because Tiferet is where you're supposed to tie the gartel. I saw last night they were tying their gartel by the waist. But the Rebbe of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Menachem Mendel Schneerson, used to do it up here at the end of the bone, at the diaphragm level, not the waist level. So his center of his body, of his two halves, was at the diaphragm level, at the end of the bones here in the front, where the diaphragm moves up and down, and that's where the souls differentiate between the animal soul and the godly soul. So we go back, Adam and Eve now, yesterday for me was 1,082, and then I come here today, and I do the 3 names of Moses, Set, and Hevel, which is, everybody knows that's what makes up Moses, and it's 1,082. So the 1,082 of Moses equals 1,082 of Adam and Eve, Adam and Hava. And if you have Adam and Hava as 1,082, and Moses is 1,082, and you see that Moses is made up of Set and Hevel, which are 2 sons of 1,082 of Adam and Eve. So what's the relationship in Moses to Adam and Eve? And I just so happen to, continuing here, I happen to do the din of Moses. The din of Moses would be Mem, for the Mem. Moses spelt out Mem, Shin, Hey. And so if I did the din of the spelling of the letters, it's complicated without papers here. And if you're not really familiar with it, but Mem is Mem. So I did the 40 for the din of the Mem. Shin is Shin Yud Nun. So I did the Yud Nun. That's 40 with 60. That's 100. And then Hey is Hey Aleph. It's 1. So it's 101. And so it's Mikael. Because all 101s are Mikael, and we're talking about now an angel. And aren't we talking about, remember a few days ago, well, 101 becomes also the shofar blast. And we're talking about now, so now Mikael comes from Moses. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Moses comes from Mikael. they function in the world in a parallel way. Michael is the, soul of Israel. He does everything for Israel. Doesn't Moses? Moses is the beginning of Israel. And something else, didn't we determine that Michael and Samuel were one angel? And this is the Nahash itself, and remember, there's two biyas that create a person. First, you have to make the kli, and then comes the biyah that fructifies. And so, is it possible that the Samael, Michael connection was the first biyah to Hava? Just like we think the Nahash was Samel, but Samel is Michael. Is Moses, therefore, been progenitated or generated or whatever from Michael? Is Moses, therefore, a son in some sense? It came from Michael. Moses is a son from Adam and Eve, from Gan Eden. Is it possible? The din of Moses is Michael. And he's listed as Moses, Shet, and Hevel. That would make third son in a certain sense. The third son would be Cain, wouldn't it? Which we know comes from the Nahash. Could Moses also come from could Moses in this way be a relation to Cain? Since it's Moses, Shet, Hevel, all from Adam, brought to you by Michael. Michael is and the relation in that Gan Eden of the relation between the Nahash being Samuel, Michael, one angel. Michael was the progenitor of Cain. Michael, with Cain, he's found in the name. He's found in the name as 101 in Moshe. Cain kills the Egyptian in the same way that Moses kills the Egyptian, the same way Cain kills Hevel. Moses is a direct descendant of Cain as the first child. So as I'm doing this is real time. So it should be a little jumbled. I haven't written this out. Don't have a book here to write it out. All I do is a note. The strange thing is that Hevel, if you take the din of Hevel, it's Aleph, that's one, then Yud, from the Bet, is Yud Tov, that's 410, and from the Lamed it's 44. That's 455, and those are the three spellings of Aleph Hey Yud Hey. So the Aleph Hey Yud Hey of Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh is found in Hevel. And isn't that what Moses said? So, let me get back to the meat. The meat is that Mikael being involved with Cain, it's not that Hevel's din is din, which is the shay, by the way, shin Hevel, shin het, hey, shin hey, shay. It's not that his din is that. His mem, his mem in full being 80, by the way, which is a hetzi of Cain, 160. It says Moses is Cain. Moses from the seed of Cain. Moses is Cain. Brought to you by Mikael Samuel. As the first BA into Hava. There are two angels of Adar, Much and Sa. When you add the Aleph, Yud, Lamed, you get Mikael out of the Much. When you add the Aleph, Yud, and Lamed to the Sa, you get Yisrael. These two angels of Adar are what went into Moses. What made Moses. Moses from the seed of Cain. Well, tick-tock here. I don't want to leave gaps. But this is, if this is so, this is kind of Hiddish, an innovation. They don't say that Moses was from Cain. They don't say that Moses was from Mikael. They don't say that the progenitor of the entire opus of Judaism and the races of Judaism was Mikael. And that substitute of the angel, which is the angel component of Aleph, Yud, and Lamed, that's the Ayil that gets substituted at the Akida. When Yitzhak asks for a Shei, it gets instead an Ayil. And when does this happen here? What are we doing? We're doing it today on the 7th of Adar. when all this is coming from Moses, from the soul of Moses, which is brought to you by Mikael. And I have to make some notes of this and extend from here.